Hey guys, it's Una, back with another Runeterra video. This time I have a brand new deck for you guys to try out. This is called the Lux Karma deck, or the Karma-Lux deck. So similar to the Ezreal Karma deck, but this time we haven't got Ezreal, we got Lux. So this is the Karma-Lux variant. And I personally like this deck a lot much more than the Ezreal Karma deck. Probably because I'm just not very good with the Ezreal Karma deck, but this Karma-Lux deck, oh my goodness, this so fun. It's so insane when you actually get to the end game. Super fun. So you guys need to check out this deck. Let's dive into it. Let's give this deck a card by card analysis and see where we get to. Wow, this deck is so fun. So I'm actually recording this video after I've played a game with this deck against a real person for the first time. So if you haven't checked that video out, check it out probably after you watch this, so that you get a better understanding of the cards in this deck. I'm still brand new to this deck and I'm still quite new to some of the cards in here, so you'll see in the video that I actually played some cards wrong, and I know where I played it wrong after rewatching it. But yes, let's dive into it. So the main win condition of this deck is essentially when you get to the late games, you're going to be getting a Karma out and a Lux out onto your board. So like always, I'll be covering every single card as detailed as possible. So with Karma, so I'm assuming people have seen it, but let's just assume that no one knows what this card is. So Karma is a champion, 5-cost champion. If it's out there like this without being leveled up at the round end, so when it's the end of a round, you get a random spell in your hand. So Karma will just create a spell and you get that in your hand. You can level up Karma by being an enlightened Karma, and to get enlightened it just means that you need to have 10 max mana or more. So once you hit 10 mana, and that's not including your spell bank ones, there's just 10 mana max, then you get enlightened and Karma will turn and level up. When she levels up, she turns into this card, so you get a bit more stats, and instead of getting the random spell card, it changes. So these actual skill changes into when you play a spell, you cast that same spell again on the same target. And this is insane, because as you can see, if you look at, so this is what this one does. If you look at Lux, so Lux is the other component in this deck. The Lux, when you send out Lux 6 costs, Lux actually gets a barrier as soon as you send her out, but the barrier lasts only 1 round. And with the level up condition on this, you just need to use it needs to see that you've used 6+ mana of spells, and it will create a final spark into your hand. So why this is good with Karma is because with an enlightened Karma, if you cast a spell, it will recast the same spell again. So most of the spells in this deck are 3 cost or more. So therefore, if you just cast 1, that's 3 mana. It will then duplicate it. You get another 3 mana, which doesn't cost you anything. So that's 6. So every time you cast one of these, you're going to be triggering Lux's ability and get a final spark in your hand. And then obviously Lux can level up as well. So final spark it's one of those fleeting. It's a fleeting card. In other words, it disappears at the end of the round if you don't use it. It doesn't cost any mana, so you might as well use it if you can. And what happens is you can deal 4 to an enemy unit. But because this card has the Overwhelm ability or tag, any excess damage that is more than the difference of the HP of the minion, the health, it hits it to the Nexus. So that's true with the second final spark that you cast if you use Karma's enlightened ability. So if Karma's enlightened, you use a final spark, doesn't cost you any mana, you'll be able to use 2 final sparks because of this skill hit. So because you've used 2, and this only allows to target units. So you target one of the enemies, it would hit 8 on the. It's going to hit 8, but any excess is going to hit the Nexus. So if they're blocking, say, with a 5 health minion, then you hit them with much more. You kill them, and you get the extra 3 on their Nexus health. So that's why this I guess this combo is so good. Because in a round, every time you cast there's so many spell cards in here. If you cast a spell, you're going to get you're going to trigger one of these final spark. If you cast another spell, you can get another final spark. So in a turn, you can get about 3 of these, 3 or 4 final sparks. And so that's insane. 3 or 4 final sparks. Every time you cast one of these, 3 or 4 sparks, you're going to double it. That's going to be a 6 to 8 final sparks. So it's insane. And if you check out my other video, you'll see how insane it is at the end. I mean, in the other video, wow. I'm not going to spoil it, but just check it out at the end. So that's basically the win condition. Get into turn 10, get Karma, get Lux out, win with all of these final sparks. So you need to be able to get to that point. So you need to be able to get to stalling the early games and mid games, building up your board presence, building up the correct hand to counter their deck, and then unleashing it at the end. And let's go through all the cards. So we got Health Potion. So Health Potion is only 1 cost spell card, and it can heal your ally or your Nexus for free at free health. Good thing about this is if you've got a Karma out, Enlightened, you get double these. So actually you heal 6 health. Maybe you can use it on your Nexus when you need it, so you get 6 health back. Because you're going to be taking a lot of damage in the early and mid games. So getting that health back in your Nexus will help you survive. Or you can use it on your minions so that they'll get a bit more health and survive in the game and hopefully block a few more damage. Eye of the Dragon is an amazing card. There's 3 of them in this deck. When I played with it, I didn't really benefit too much from having one of these. It's a really, really good card. It worked really well in the Ezreal Karma deck, but I found that because the spells cost a bit too much in this deck, you're near the middle and beginning game, you're not really going to be able to trigger the Dragoning quite often as much as you want to, because your spells just cost too much. Obviously when you get an Enlightened Karma, you're obviously going to be able to trigger these Dragonings a lot more, but by the time you get to that, this is the least of your worries. You won't be using this too much. You'll be using a lot of the other cards instead. So yeah, it's in here at the moment. I'm thinking, it's nice to have maybe 1 or 2, but 3 just seems a bit too much. So I might replace this. We'll see. Single Combat, very, very good card for 2 mana cost. Allows you to attack a enemy, strike first. So an ally and an enemy strike each other, basically. Very, very good card to allow you to control the board. Loyal Badger Bear, so this is just a really, really good staple, good card in general. So with only 3 mana cost, you get a 4/4. That's just an insane value card. So yeah, very good card, just to either block or attack with. Shadow Assassin, very good card again because it's an elusive card, only costs 3. Being elusive, most of the time it can't get blocked unless they have elusives themselves. But every time you summon this out, you get a draw card. So you'll be drawing a lot more spells, and that's kind of what you need with this deck. You need to be able to draw a lot. So that's why this is in here. So you get 3 of them. Deep Meditation, again, similar stuff. Normally costs 4 mana, but if you cast 2 spells the round before, this only costs 2 mana points. So with this, you get to draw 2 other spells. So this is really, really good because if you manage to draw this at the end with an Enlightened Karma, you're going to be able to draw 4 spells. So that's insane. That's insane value. So for 2 costs, you get 4 spells. That's insane. So yeah, but even during mid game, this is still a very good card to draw so that you can actually cycle through your deck quickly. Deny, there's only 1 deny in here, so the opponents are going to be playing a lot of spells to try and kill you, especially if you've got your Karma and Lux out. So having a deny will just help you keep these people in there. Crystal Rangers is a really, really good card. In fact, I feel it's a bit broken, to be honest. It's got this scout ability, which allows it to. So scout ability allows this to attack first, and it doesn't use up your attack. So what a good tip is, actually this is the only scout card in this deck. So if you got this and you got the attacking phase, put this out by itself with no one else, just by itself. Because or if you do have some scouts in your team, you put it out with scouts. They will attack first. They'll die or come back, or and eventually that doesn't use up your attack phase. You can actually attack again with the same card and with all the other cards on your bench as well. So yeah, really, really good tag to have actually. But the good thing about this one is it's got 4 attack, so in other words it will hurt a lot of the enemy minions, but whenever this dies it's going to summon out a Loyal Badger Bear. And like I said earlier, this Loyal Badger Bear with 4/4 stats is a really, really good, insane value card. So to have that, both of these cards for only 4 mana, and you get to attack twice, really, really good card. Wheel of Ionia has saved me more times than not in like late game plays. What this card does is allows you to recall units. So it could be your unit or their units. most of the time you use it on their units, and as an example, they could have a broom out, and with the broom it could be almost leveled up. Use Wheel of Ionia, it resets it. So remember, this will reset a lot of all the stats, everything that's been happening to that card. A very, very valuable card to use near mid or end game, especially end game. Concentrated Strike allows for 5, it's quite high cost, but it's actually quite worth it. For 5 mana, you get to strike, choose an enemy, and you get to choose 2 allies, and both of them will strike the enemy. Your allies will not take damage. Just to bear that in mind, your allies do not take damage. So you can choose 2 of your highest attack allies and attack them. Attack one of their enemies. Attack one of their minions. So yeah, it's basically a free attack on one of theirs. So it's really, really good because, as an example, let's say they've got a Tryndamere out on the field, a leveled up one with 9/9. You've got maybe two people with, you know, maybe a 5/5. So both of them are 5 attack, or maybe a 5 attack and a 4 attack. You can use this and use it on them two and target their Tryndamere. Your 5 and 4 is 9, kills their 9 Tryndamere, and your minions don't lose any health. And so nothing happens to them. So really, really good card this is, especially for late game, and even mid game. So where do we get to? That's Concentrated Strike. There's 2 of them in the deck. I think that's about right. 2. Karma we've gone over. Main aim of this deck. Radiant Guardian is just a really, really good card in general. So when you summon this, if a allied has died that round, this Radiant Guardian gets both lifesteal and also tough. So these are really good tags to have. Lifesteal, any damage this unit deals, it heals your Nexus for that. So every time it's going to attack, it's going to heal your Nexus for 5. Tough just basically lets this unit take 1 less damage from all sources every single time. So if they've got a maybe a static shock which does 1 damage on, say, this card, it's not going to work. You got tough, it negates it. If they attack you with a 1 powered attack card, it's not going to work. You're going to negate it. If they attack you with a 2 attack powered card, it will -1. So the tough will just -1 from the source. So in other words, they got 2 attack, you -1, they hit you for 1. So your health will go down to 4. So that's basically how this card works. It's a really, really good card to have in your deck because it allows you to both defend and also attack as well. So what I do like to do is I like to use Radiant Guardian, attack with it, reduce the health a bit, and then use the 1 health potion to just bring it back up to speed again. So increase, plus up again on the health. Lux we've gone through already. These are Lux and Karma are the main aims of your deck. So we've gone through that. This is a really, really good card actually, Remembrance. So with Remembrance, every time an ally died this round, this card reduces by 1 mana for every single ally that's died. And when you do use this, you get to summon out a random 5-cost follower from the Demacia region, which is insane. It's really, really good because if you do, say, manage to summon out maybe a Radiant Guardian, because you can only use, you really want to use this when an ally has died, because then you'll get a bit more value for what it is. So you really need to at least have 1 more. Two people dying to make this worth the value, because then this will be 4, and then you'll be summoning out a 5-cost follower, so it's a better value there. But you could use this if you still have some spare mana. But normally you use this when this is being reduced, because this is only reduced when actually allies have died, because you summon out a random 5-cost unit, maybe it's this one, because an ally has died, then all of these triggers. So that's a really, really good benefit there. And then the last one is Unyielding Spirit. I didn't understand this card originally, and you'll see in one of my earlier in the video that I used this deck to have a play. I totally did not know what this really card actually was supposed to do. I thought it only lasted for 1 turn, but actually this card lasts for until the end of the game. So that's why it's 8 mana, because it's so much. But what it does is, Unyielding Spirit, it grants an ally, your ally can't take damage or die, and that's exactly what happens. Your ally can't. So in other words, one of your minions and followers, they can't die or take damage throughout the game when you play this, and that's insane. That is insane. I did not realize that's what I did. I thought it did it for 1 round. So it doesn't say 1 round, so I thought it might just only be 1 round. But it's actually throughout the whole entire game afterwards. So I think if you check out my earlier video, my playthrough of this deck, I used it on Karma. Because I really wanted to protect my Karma. And I thought it only lasted for that 1 round. So then you'll see throughout the rest of the game, I then, maybe buffed up my Karma, protected it with Barrier, because I didn't realize that Unyielding Spirit lasts throughout the game. And if I realized that, I obviously wouldn't have, used any more buffs and spells on Karma. We would have used it probably on Lux or something. But that's what Unyielding Spirit does. It allows you to keep an ally in play for the rest of the game. But then I wonder what happens if they recall you with Wheel of Ionia. I actually don't know that. I don't know what happens if they recall you. If they recall you, you'll probably lose. You're going to lose this buff. That's probably a disadvantage there. So maybe you want to play this if you know that they don't have any more spells to actually get rid of it. But to have this on, say, Karma, an enlightened Karma, or maybe a leveled up Lux at the end, it's insane. In fact, I might actually put 1 more of these so that I can have 1 on Karma and 1 on Lux at the end. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think at 8 mana cost is a bit too much. So basically, that's the deck. So in summary, you want to be able to get to late game using stalling tactics or board control, board removals during the middle and beginning of the game. Get your enlightened Karma out at the end. Get your Lux leveled up. You're going to be charging up loads and loads of final sparks so that you can just final spark every single thing. It basically looks like a Kamehameha. You're going to Kamehameha everything. In fact, I'm going to call this deck Kamehameha deck. You're literally going to Kamehameha every single thing. It's going to be insane. The damage that you can do on this, oh my goodness, it's so good. It's so satisfying when you get to pull this off. Unyielding Spirit's a really, really good card to protect your Karma and Lux. Throughout the middle game, you're going to be using a lot of 3, 4, 5 cost units to try or spells to try and keep the board healthy for yourself, so that you can actually come back in the late games. And yeah, so these are basically all the cards. I mean, some good combos already gone through, like Concerted Strike to actually deal some big damage on some big units that you might not have the necessary counter for. Wheel of Ionia to recall lots of stuff, especially buffed up units, to just recall it, so then they lose all of their buffs. GRIZZLED Rangers to summon out more Badger Bears. Badger Bears, again, really good value card. Using Deep Meditation, using lots of spells to make this cost less, so that you can actually draw more spells. Shadow Assassins to help you draw spells, and also maybe attack, if you're lucky enough, attack their Nexus a little bit. And that's basically it. And then the rest of this, I don't really feel this works in this deck. Eye Dragon. Maybe I'm not playing it right, but I think I'm gonna sort this one out. Especially not 3, maybe 2, maybe 1. Yeah, this deck is insane. Check out my other video when I actually played this. I'm not gonna spoil anything, so I won't say much. Just check it out. Just check it out. It's especially near the end. Just check it out. It's good. All right, that's this deck. So let me know what you guys think of this deck. Like usual, the deck ID is in the description box below. Do you like this deck? Do you prefer this deck to, say, over the Ezreal Karma deck? I personally do. I personally like this deck more than the Ezreal Karma deck. But yeah, let me guys know what you think of this deck. If there's any questions that you guys got, put it in the comment section. I'll try my best to answer them. Yeah, and like always, if you found this deck analysis useful, or at least a little bit useful, I'll be super happy that you can support this video. Give me a like and a follow. Yeah, until next time, guys. We'll be trying out lots and lots of different decks. So yeah, definitely follow, subscribe, turn on that notification button so that whenever I do some more deck analysis, hopefully you'll be one of the first people to see it. Alright guys, until next time, definitely check this deck out. It's super fun. Give it a go, you won't regret it. It's good. Alright, until next time guys, peace.